wild, lost control, running wild, mighty bold, feeling gay, reckless too, carefree mind all the time, never blue.
Over the last few decades, black and white films have been somewhat abandoned. Yet, when it comes to the history of cinematography, the medium encapsulates numerous masterpieces and continues to define the film genre today. From horror to science fiction, drama to romance, monochrome features have given us some of cinema's finest moments. We've pulled together 10 classic black and white movies that every film fan needs to see at least once in their life. Number 10, Sunset Boulevard, 1950.
Joe? Where are you? What's this all about?
Why don't you come out and see for yourself? The address is 10,086 Sunset Boulevard.
Sunset Boulevard, an extraordinary tale about Hollywood, is an insightful combination of film noir and black comedy. It portrays an aging silent film star, Norma Desmond, who traps a young screenwriter who accidentally stumbles into her seedy mansion. Ultimately, the movie shows Tinseltown as nothing but a land of dreams. It lives to be a scathing meta-criticism of the film industry's predisposition to abandon discarded actors. Wonderfully over the top, the story is rife with fantastic performances and comedic moments, ensuring that this is one of the most sumptuous black and white films ever made. Number 9, Schindler's List, 1993.
Make sure it's known the company's in business. I see that it had a certain panache. That's what I'm good at, not the work, not the work. The presentation.
Steven Spielberg injects his signature cinematic talent into Schindler's List, a harrowing exploration of the experience of the Holocaust. Filmed in black and white for respectful and aesthetic purposes, the haunting masterpiece is based on a true story, giving an insight into the destructive power of humanity and the strength of the human spirit. Focusing on a German businessman in Poland who staffs his factory with Jews in order to protect them. The movie explores brutal themes with deeply emotional poignancy, with painstaking accuracy and an exceptional narrative boldness. This is a cinematic must-see. Number 8, Metropolis, 1927. Fritz Lang's legendary masterpiece has defined the science fiction genre since its entrance into the film scene in the first half of the 20th century. In a futuristic city divided between the working class and the city authorities, the son of a city planner falls in love with a working class prophet. Metropolis is perhaps one of the most influential silent movies ever made and has spawned the futurism genre. With stunning images and timeless themes, Metropolis is greatly regarded as marking the beginning of modern cinema and is a cautionary tale of a future dominated by machines. Number 7, Psycho, 1960.
You know, this is the first place that looks like it's hiding from the world.
I think that we're all in our private traps, clamped in them, and none of us can ever get out.
The master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock, was already a household name. Psycho made him a bona fide legend. Part of the reason news about the movie spread like wildfire was Hitchcock's demand that you see the film from the beginning. Some certain scenes of the movie also helped facilitate the hype and controversy for this classic. The monochromatic palette evokes a dark and pessimistic tone. The plot follows a secretary who steals a large amount of money, ends up in a motel, and is mysteriously murdered. To this day, the shrieking shower scene is famous throughout cinematic history. This scene is produced with flawless execution and exhibits Hitchcock's trademark dark humor that is often recognizable at the core of his most haunting features. Repeatedly imitated, parodied, analyzed, and referenced, it is no wonder that Psycho remains ahead of the game in the horror genre even to this day. Number 6, All About Eve, 1950.
Outside of a beehive, Margot, your behavior would hardly be considered either queenly or motherly.
You're in a beehive, pal, didn't you know? We're all busy little bees, full of stings, making honey day and night. Aren't we, honey?
All About Eve is one of the greatest screenplays ever written. It is a drama about female companionship, the value of ambition, backstabbing, manipulation, and betrayal. The Hollywood classic is an elegant and funny story about an aspiring actress, which remains one of Bette Davis's most famous roles. The feature is impervious to the rigors of time and is an inspiration for the modern soap operas of today. For those looking for a hilarious insight into the nature of show business, this movie is a witty classic that explores the psychology at the core of the theatrical life. whilst painting an honest and raw portrait of the strength of female influence. Number 5, It's a Wonderful Life, 1946.
You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
You see, George, you really had a wonderful life.
This timeless Christmas tale is also one of the best movies of all time, let alone the best black and white movie, period. Jimmy Stewart stars as George Bailey, a man who is feeling low and about to give it all up, and on Christmas no less. Stopping him from hurting himself is his guardian angel, Clarence, who shows him what life would be like if he were never born. Nothing quite gives you the warmth and fuzzies like watching George run through the streets of Bedford Falls declaring, "I want to live, Clarence, I want to live." Number 4, Doctor Strange, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, 1964.
I shouldn't tell you this, Mandrake, but you're a good officer and you have a right to know. It looks like we're in a shooting war.
The hell.
Well, boys, I reckon this is it. Nuclear combat toe-to-toe with the Ruskies.
This comedy movie is done in the stylings of master auteur Stanley Kubrick. While watching some of the master filmmakers' movies and exercises an extreme patience and just admiring the craft of filmmaking itself rather than the actual movie. Stanley Kubrick's movie Dr. Strangelove explores the story of a mentally unstable general who triggers the path to a nuclear holocaust, much to the distress of a room full of political figures and military leaders. During the height of paranoia, when nuclear destruction was a very real and possible issue, the movie makes us reconsider the situation from an entirely different perspective, throwing light upon our own absurd behaviors. In this hotline suspense comedy, the idiocy of nuclear war is satirized using the backdrop of an impending Cold War. Since its release, few movies have been able to deal with such a serious issue by submerging it into the comedy genre with such success. Number 3, Rebecca, 1940.
I suppose she was the most beautiful creature I ever saw.
You certainly have your work cut out as Mistress of Manderley. To be perfectly frank with you, my dear, I can't see you doing it. You haven't the experience, you haven't the faintest idea of what it means to be a great lady.
Rebecca was Alfred Hitchcock's first foray into American film and also his only feature to win Best Picture at the Academy Awards. The Daphne du Maurier adaptation is a masterpiece of black and white cinema combined with gothic thrills and a haunting atmosphere. It follows the story of a self-conscious young woman who marries the charming Maxime de Winter, played by the brilliant Laurence Olivier. Having moved to his luxurious Mandalay estate, the house staff take a great disliking to her due to their loyalty to their master's late wife. What ensues is a suspenseful drama which is overshadowed by the unsettling presence of the dead wife. Number 2, Some Like It Hot, 1959.
Good night, sugar. Good night, honey.
There's one thing sure, boy never met girl like this before.
Marilyn Monroe has tragically been off of this mortal coil longer than she was on it. To throngs of fans that weren't even alive anywhere near her untimely demise at 36, she is still the personification of beauty in many areas of the world. She was one of the best actresses of her time, and Some Like It Hot is her finest film. Two guys, Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis, hide out from the mob posing as two women that are part of a female band on the way to Miami. The real hijinks ensues when both guys fall for the lead singer. Number 1, Citizen Kane, 1941.
Charles Foster Kane is... Sure, he started the war. But do you think if it hadn't been for Mr. Kane, the United States would have the Panama Canal?
If you've ever taken a film history class, you'll more likely than not have seen Orson Welles' first and greatest movie, Citizen Kane. Almost 80 years after its initial release in 1941, some people still believe that it's the greatest movie ever made. While that certainly is very debatable, what isn't is how innovative the movie was for its time. This American drama film was produced, directed, and even starred by Orson Welles. The film is considered by many critics and experts to be the greatest film ever made. For 50 consecutive years, it stood at number 1 in the British Film Institute's Sight and Sound Decennial Poll of Critics. And it topped the American Film Institute's 100 Years, 100 Movies list in 1998, as well as its 2007 update. Much like Star Wars changed a lot of things for this generation of fans, Kane's narrative structure was considered groundbreaking for the era. Back in 1941, everyone was scrambling to the cinema to learn what or who Rosebud meant or was. This is it for today, and I hope you liked the video. If you disagree with our list, please give us your opinion in the comment section below. Be sure to subscribe to Series Pulse for more top 10 videos.